Back to school. Brush up on the latest turfgrass research, presented by Syngenta.
Every winter where snow is present, turf is at risk of getting snow mold. The University of Wisconsin-Madison puts on an annual snow mold field day where products are tested and snow mold is examined. Dr. Paul Koch, assistant professor in the Department of Plant Pathology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, discusses snow mold field days and the trial results.
So we're here at Wausau Country Club in Wausau, Wisconsin, testing the abilities of 108 different fungicide treatments against suppression of different snow mold diseases, gray, pink, and speckled snow mold. Most of the disease here is actually pink snow mold with a little bit of speckled snow mold. We're here at Wausau because they get long, severe winters, long snow cover. This winter they had about 120 days or more of snow cover, and so that provides an excellent environment for the different fungi to infect the turf. And because of the disease pressure they get here, it is an excellent site for us to choose as our fungicide trial.
Koch explains what snow mold is and the ideal environment for it to grow.
So snow mold is actually an umbrella term for several different types of disease. There are three major types. There's pink snow mold, there's gray snow mold, and there's speckled snow mold. And they're all fungal diseases. And they grow slowly under the snow cover for the most part and infect the turf over the period of an entire winter. Gray snow mold requires snow cover to cause disease, as does speckled snow mold. Pink snow mold does not necessarily require snow cover. And conditions that favor development of all three diseases are long snow cover, moisture, and relatively mild winter temperatures. And so that's what that snow cover is actually doing, is insulating the surface of the soil and providing a conducive environment for the fungi to infect the turf.
Different types of snow mold affect turf in different ways, also affecting the way the turf recovers.
Well, it depends on the type of snow mold. So speckled snow mold is more apt to infect the turf grass crown, so recovery is going to be slower. Both gray snow mold and pink snow mold attack more of the foliage, but if there's a severe infection, the recovery will certainly be slower. And depending on the spring, it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to recover, or if it's a cool spring, certainly longer than that. And in certain cases, the entire plant will die, so we'll need to recover from surrounding turf or reseed. But that's usually only in severe cases of infection.
Snow mold can come in different colors and can be identified in numerous ways.
There are slight differences in the field appearance. So pink snow mold has more of a tannish color, and in some cases will have a reddish or pinkish border. That's where it gets the name pink snow mold. It also does not produce sclerotia. So sclerotia are long-term survival structures that are only produced by gray and speckled snow mold. And symptoms in the field for gray and speckled snow mold will be roughly circular patches of gray or in some cases whitish colored turf. And easy to identify those two diseases. You pick up the sclerotia. Speckled snow mold produces sclerotia that are small and black, and then gray snow mold produces sclerotia that are larger relatively and red in color. So very easy to identify the diseases based on if there are sclerotia present or not and what color those sclerotia are.
There are many groups that can benefit from these trials.
So these trials have multiple benefits. So there's benefit to the fungicide companies that submit the protocols. They are looking to gather more information on either experimental products or on new uses for traditional products or new mixtures or new rates. Then there's also a marketing aspect to the fungicide companies. They're trying to show that their products are effective from a third-party source, so us at the university testing these products. And then we're also trying to target golf course superintendents. They can see in the field firsthand how these products are performing. Without any marketing materials from the fungicide companies, they can just come out and see the raw data and see for themselves in the field, and then also look at the results online.
We asked Koch if there were any surprise results with the trial, and how well did it turn out?
I mean, I don't think there was any significant surprises. This was a great trial. We had great pressure here. For the most part, the non-treated controls averaged nearly 90% disease. That's really high for any sort of disease trial. Products that should have performed well. So products like Instrata, Interface Triton, QP Enclave, Torque and 2636 combination. All those products perform well, and those are good treatments. The one thing I will say is that when in a severe snow mold condition, you need at least 3 active ingredients in that fungicide mixture to really provide adequate protection. We have a couple of examples in this trial where we have individual fungicides on their own and then mixed together. And so on their own they perform very poorly, but when mixed together they provide great results. And we have a couple examples. We have Interface and Triton. Each of those on their own in this trial actually perform quite poorly, but when you mix them together they perform very well. Torque and 2636 is another example. Each of those fungicides on their own perform quite poorly in this trial, but together they provide excellent disease suppression. There's a couple different thinkings about why, a couple different thoughts about why that is. One could be just a greater suppression of a range of the fungal pathogens with those mixture of fungicides. The other thought, that one of the fungicides could be reducing the viability of the fungal pathogen and making it more vulnerable to the other fungicide. One thing we do know that it's not related to persistence. We've conducted some research at Wisconsin and found that with chlorothalonil and iprodione, we found that mixing those fungicides together did provide an increased duration of snow mold control, but the fungicides still degraded at the same rate whether they were applied alone or together. So it's not related to an increase in persistence.
Koch explains the best way to prevent snow mold.
Preventing snow mold is, it's about more than just fungicides, but certainly in this part of the country, the upper Midwest, northern New England, the Rocky Mountain West, it's going to require fungicides to provide adequate protection on bentgrass and annual bluegrass turf. Other things you can do, reduce the nitrogen fertilization, certainly going late into the year. There has been some recent work that shows high potassium leads to higher amounts of gray snow mold, so really work on that fertility. You want the plants as hardened off as possible going into fall. If they're still actively growing, you're going to be more apt to see damage from snow mold. The more moisture that's held in the soil, there's going to be more disease. So removing organic matter from the soil, increasing your surface and subsurface drainage, those things are all going to improve the environment for the turf under that snow cover and lead to less disease.
Koch tells us how one can get information on snow mold field days and test trial results.
So we have 5 different sites that we test at, one in Madison, one here in Wausau, one up in Marquette, Michigan in the Upper Peninsula, and then we have one in northern Minnesota and one in north central Minnesota. And the reason we choose 5 sites is, one, to provide varying levels of snow mold pressure as a test to the different products. So certain products will perform better at lower pressures than they will at higher pressures. But we also go to multiple sites to just because in certain winters there won't be disease at a certain site. They won't have the conditions. So we want to get to as many sites as possible to find at least one site that will have enough pressure to provide a good test. So we always post the results from these trials online at our website, which is tdl.wisc.edu, and we always announce the dates and locations of the snow mold field day or days on that website as well. So we normally try and announce that as soon as the snow melts, so usually anywhere from late March to early April.